Hearthstone just released some new patches which will definitely change the standard meta. We're going over that today and some secret features they added which you might have missed. So make sure you stay until the end so you get to know what those secret features were. The first and most unsurprising update is Drekthar. Instead of summoning 2 minions, it's 1. Honestly, it's a great nerf. By great nerf, they probably killed the card, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Since most people got this card for free, they might still play it. With the 4 mana limitation gone, you can run cards like Jace. Maybe you'll run Zillag, which did also get buffed. I think you can just run Illidari Inquisitor, that should be fine too. Can't also forget Mr. Smite, just put that in the deck too, that's more direct damage. Overall, it's a pretty big nerf. Probably not enough to kill the deck. Actually, no, it's not enough to kill the deck. 100% don't think it's enough to kill it. But maybe the nerf on multi-strike will. Instead of 1 mana, it simply just costs 2 more mana. You ask me, this does nothing. Instead of 1 mana Doomhammer, you get 2 mana Doomhammer. Big whoop! This card still destroys with Dread Prison Glaive. You still got a bunch of cheap spells. Put some Battle Worn Vanguards in there. Don't get me wrong, I am very happy with the nerf. It's just, it's not a big nerf. Of course it makes the deck worse. It's a nerf, but overall Demon Hunter did not get that much weaker. Demon Hunter's still going to be a tier 1 deck, let's be real. Hopefully a less strong tier 1 deck, but still a tier 1 deck. Dragonbane Shot also got nerfed from 2 to 3 mana. Unlike the multi-strike nerf, this nerf does exponentially more damage. Every time you have to use a Dragonbane Shot, it costs 1 more mana. That will add up over time. It's a huge nerf. I think a lot of people don't realize how big that is. Will it kill Quest Hunter? No, it's the only thing that got nerfed from that deck. You still have your Arcane Shots, put your Barbed Webs in there, you're still completing the quest. I was expecting this quest line to get the Pirate Warrior treatment where you just make it more spells. Maybe 3-2-2 for the quest, maybe 2-2-3, I don't know, but not nothing. Again, still a tier 1 deck, but maybe lower tier 1, maybe even tier 2 considering how many buffs we got. Also, you disenchant for your free dust, and if you had a diamond Drekthar for some reason, you get 3,000 gold. I did not have a diamond Drekthar, I'm kinda sad. Now onto the buffs, we have Zillag. You deal 2 damage at the first stock instead of 1, which is great. Now it's a 7 mana deal 8, with the stat lines of the minion, of course. There aren't really many big demon supporting cards. You got Sigil of Reckoning, I guess. Proving Grounds if you're being really optimistic. I still don't think you would put Zillag in any aggro Naga demon hunters. In the future, this card might see a lot more play. Hunter got extremely good in this meta. If you thought one tier 1 Hunter deck was good, the new Beast Hunter is insane. Harpoon Gun now dredges and reduces the cost by 3. Dredging then reducing the cost by 2 compared to dredging and reducing the cost by 3, not a big deal. But when you consider your Azure Sand Sabers combined with your Sunken Sabers, and then putting your big beast in your deck, you're looking like a pretty solid mid-range Hunter deck. But not only that, there's a Pet Collector buff. Instead of a 5 mana 3/3, 5 mana 4/4, small buff, solid in the whole grand scheme of that deck. And what we just talked about, Azure Sand Saber getting 4/3 instead of a 3/3 rush. Same with the Sunken Saber, it's a 4/3 now. All of these cards contribute to this Beast Hunter deck. Hunter has Quest Hunter already. I have seen posts about Beast Hunter being low-key good, but no one talks about it. Now Beast Hunter is going to be high-key good. Very scary deck, very scary deck. So they buffed one of the best classes already in Hunter. So of course you're going to buff one of the worst classes right now in Priest, right? Blackwater Behemoth is now 7 mana instead of 8. Small nerf, it honestly doesn't really do anything, let's be real here. Was anyone running this card because it costs 8 mana compared to 7 mana? Where this becomes the most useful is in the Seek Guidance questline. You had to always play a 7 mana card. Usually that would be Mutinous, maybe even Elec Mount if you're really desperate. But now we have Behemoth, so it's a really big buff to that questline Priest deck. That combined with Whirlpool will now cost 8 mana. The 8 cost card, the last card you need for your questline. You had Zyrella to play for 8 mana. I've seen some decks run Morag Morgfiend, but a consistent 8 mana spell that removes the whole board is great for that questline Priest deck. I'm going to really hope that questline Priest deck gets a bit better. I really like the questline Priest deck. I don't have it, but I think it's pretty funny. So maybe try your questline Priest decks, who knows? Shadowcloth Needle now costs 1 instead of 2. Maybe this is a hot take. No one was playing this deck before. Will anyone play this deck now? Shadowcloth Needle does become a 1 mana deal 3 to the whole board. Maybe it'll get run in Shadow Priest, I doubt it. When's the last time you've seen the Shadow Priest? I have seen a lot of people try out some Naga Priests. Serpent Wing now gives a +1/+2 instead of a +1/+1. This is of course really good for your Naga Priest decks. Naga Priest does reward casting spells, so you want to be using this more often. Is it enough to become a problem? No. Not really. I don't think it's enough to cause a problem. Maybe it will. Boar Priest right now does have a surprisingly good counter against Warrior, so hopefully these deck archetypes get a way better matchups in general, instead of just having to be a one-off against Control Warrior. That being said, Warrior didn't get any nerfs, which is kind of weird if you ask me. There are two other big classes which got buffed, Rogue and Warlock. They were both underperforming. I'm always okay with Warlock underperforming. Rogue, however, got a bunch of Thief Rogue buffs. Tooth of Nefarian now costs 2 instead of 3 mana. That combined with the Wild Paw Null buff, instead of costing 6 mana 3/5, it's now 5 mana 4/5. It's the original cost. They reverted it. All of these combined with Test Gravemane now cost 7 mana instead of 8 mana. I guess you can add Henchclan Burglar if you really want to, a 4 mana 4/4 instead of a 4 mana 4/3 discover a spell from another class now. Thief Rogue's always a fun deck to play just because of how random it is. It looks like they're going for more value, less aggro like the previous Thief Rogue. Maybe we'll get back into the meta where Maestro's played in every deck, who knows. Thief Rogue's really fun to play. I really hope that this is enough to make it at least a tier 3 deck, maybe a tier 2 deck. I still think it's just too random and inconsistent, unless we get back to this meta, which will be really sad, but still. But maybe these Thief Rogue buffs will be enough to make the deck more consistent over the long run, instead of just relying on getting good cards and high rolling Wild Paw Nulls and your double agents. Questline Rogue also got 1 buff instead of having a 0 cost minion to start for SI7 Smuggler. Now it's a random 1 cost minion to start. Questline Rogue literally has not seen any play for like the last 2-3 months. But it's nice to know that it's here. Maybe in the future they'll add more Questline Rogue cards. Ooh. Warlock's got a huge slew of buffs. That's not a Warlock, what the heck? The Abyss card's got 2 buffs. Now instead of a 3 mana 2/3 for the Cultist, it's a 3 mana 3/4. That combined with Drag Below now costing 3 mana instead of 4 mana is going to maybe make this deck better. Who am I kidding? This deck's not very good. Funny deck, I don't think it changes much. Drag Below does get the combo with Tamsin 1 turn earlier, so that might be a big buff for it. But the Cultist stat change does buff the card, yes, but does it do enough to really change that deck? Not really. Makes the deck slightly stronger, still not going to be that amazing of a deck, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe this deck's just gonna dominate the meta now. The Ashrazan Scavenger is now a 2 mana 2/3 instead of a 3 mana 3/4 that puts a Sunken Scavenger on the bottom of your deck. It got the same treatment as Hunter. The Sunken Scavenger is now a 2 mana 2/3 instead of a 3 mana 3/4. Funny that they're changing all of these Scavenger cards and these Dredge cards. This combined with Bloodsent Vilefin, a 4 mana 4/4, is now a 3 mana 3/4. Makes the deck a lot more aggressive. You can chum on your opponent a bit earlier because the cost of each Murloc is less. It also makes Rock Bottom come out a turn earlier. Murloc Shaman never worked. Hopefully Murloc Warlock can fill in that gap. Overall, it's a fun deck. It probably gets beaten up by Questline Hunter and all that stuff, but it's still a fun deck. Now onto our secret features. These features were actually added a few weeks ago, but no one talked about it, so you get to be the first ones to know. If we look at our card back menus, you're going to notice that the favorite option of random is gone. If you remember, there's a period of time where everyone's card backs were just nothing. Well, now you can toggle specific favorites, so these are my 4 favorite cards, I can toggle it off. But not only can you toggle specific card backs that are your favorite, if you start off in the card menu on the top here and you go to any deck you want, you can toggle on and off if you only want your favorite cards to be used as the card back for this deck. You can add a specific card back to each deck, and you can change it out. Or if you want to use specific cards, you can toggle favorites only, and then toggle how many cards you want. So these are my card backs now, and these will be the only cards that will show up in this deck. And this does not have to be the same for every deck. If I want Stormpike Spirit on this one, I go out, and for this Priest deck, maybe I want Stormwind as my card back. I can use 2 different card backs for each deck. So if you only want to use random card backs, you don't care about your favorites or anything like that, just go into your decks and toggle off favorites only, and that will give you any card randomly for your card backs. If you go back into your card menu, you have 2 more options. Now, golden cards cost a lot less dust than before. You don't have to go into your crafting menu and click golden cards and do all this fancy stuff anymore. Now you can just go right click any card you already own. For example, let's not go to Demon Hunter, we hate that class. I go into Shaman and I want to make a golden investment opportunity. I can just click on the bottom right and click upgrade now. It asks me, are you sure you want to upgrade this card to gold? I'm going to press upgrade. And just like regularly enchanting cards and disenchanting cards, I can undo for the same amount of dust. I'm not going to leave the menu, but if I left the menu, it would just make it so it's permanent. So I press undo. So instead of costing 400 gold to make a golden card, now it costs 400 in total. So I would have to craft the common first, which would cost 40, and then I would have to use the 360 remaining dust to craft this golden card. So a total of 400 instead of an additional 400 dust. The last secret option is great if you have friends. Unfortunately, I don't have friends, so I'm using my second account. Go on the top here, click copy. Now that the deck is copied into your clipboard, go to your friends list, click on your friend, and it will give you a message asking if you want to copy that deck into your clipboard. I click confirm, and now I'm on my phone. I'm gonna click it. I can tap to copy. The deck list is copied. I go back into my collection. I can create new deck. And just like that, that exact same deck is now on my other account. And that's everything you need to know from the 23.2.2 patch. Subscribe for more Hearthstone. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you around.